Guys, welcome to the channel. Hope you are well. We have a pivotal moment tomorrow. We have an inflection point for Micron. We need the leadership team to step up tomorrow morning at 8:50 a.m. and alleviate all of the concerns that we see in the marketplace. Today's video, we're going to talk about what exactly that moment will be for Micron, what we need to hear as investors to hopefully reverse the sluggish performance we've seen on this stock and get it into a bull run for the second half of the week. So we're going to jump in and talk about what's happening. But before we do that, we're going to share performance. Like, what did the stock do today overall? How did the performance look? We'll dive into that. We'll also share a news story that should give the stock a boost as well. A little bit more of encouragement for us as investors as we see a leading bank increase their price target for Micron. So if you haven't already, hit a like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys spending time. So first, let's talk about what is happening tomorrow at 8:50 a.m. And if you haven't marked it on your calendar, you need to do it now. So Micron's leadership team will be presenting tomorrow at the Wolf Research Conference at 8 a.m. out of New York. It'll be a high stakes event for them. It'll be an opportunity for them to address the rumors that we've heard regarding Samsung, to address the rumors we've heard around the pin speed test or pin speed requirements for NVIDIA and how that could impact their ability to create a deal for their HBM4 product. It is a must-watch industry event. You can stream it on the investor relations site for Micron, but it is an opportunity for them to come to the podium and for them to ease concerns for investors, ease concern in the market that we have seen this week. Micron's been down 11% this week. It has been sluggish. So this is an excellent opportunity for them to come out and share their side of the story and hopefully give a boost to the stock. So I'm going to share the 3 or 4 things that I'm looking for as an investor that I want to hear from their leadership team to hopefully give some reassurance to the market and hopefully give some confidence to investors that we're seeing start to sell off right now. And we're seeing starting to retreat from the stock when I think it has a long bull run remaining. But first, let's jump in and take a look at the stock's performance today overall. And so if you kind of look in your screen here, you'll see how Micron performed throughout the day. You can see right here, I'm circling, is the February 10th date. Came out with an immediate sell-off. We know yesterday it closed at 383.50. We could see that red candle right there out of the gate, kind of dropped down. We even got down, I think, down to about 366 today was the low for the stock overall. Rallied back. We did have a moment in the early morning where we got back up to about 382, 383 a share. But ultimately, we kind of dipped down and got back up. We're kind of in this area where we see resistance at 370 as well as 380. The stock is kind of moving back between those two areas. And if you look down at the relative strength index below, you can see it down here where it is just hovering around that neutral place. And what we need to see is the stock break through with some good news tomorrow and hopefully push a bit again, up over that resistance of the 380 and start to set a new trajectory like we saw earlier in the week back here. So across the board, we finished at 373.25 on the day. You can see it was down by $10.25 off, down 267, just over 2.5% on the day. And the after hours, we seem to be losing a bit more, about $1.50 more, down to about 372, we'll call it, just under 372. So again, fears and concerns we see right now. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear about the Samsung news and the impact it'll have on Micron's ability to partner and deal with NVIDIA. But despite all of that, if I just jump over and take a look at Deutsche Bank, we can see they actually increased their price target today on the stock. They moved the stock to $500 price target. Part of that was because their analyst, Melissa Weathers, says she expects that the DRAM memory to stay tight through the 2028 year cycle. That's probably a little longer than we've heard. Definitely have heard 2027. She's expecting it to be tight through 2028. This gives great pricing power for Micron. We may see them sell just like they've done already, sold their total capacity for 26. We could see them do that for 27 and beyond already and lock in the pricing and lock in the revenue for the company. She also, if I just scroll down here, you can see part of it is driven by the fact that she believes that the demand for a DRAM bit or every unit of data storage will grow at an annual compound rate of 15% over the next, through the end of the decade. So she's set the new price target at 500. You can see that's a 30% upside from where the stock closed on Monday. So that's great news overall for the stock. There was an unrelated story too that I think makes sense to me and why I'm kind of continue to be bullish on Micron. And it's all related to their American moat they have. We saw today that the administration, Washington, wants Taiwan Semiconductor to produce 40% of their chips here, that they're interested in creating giant semiconductor industry parks around the U.S., and they're leveraging significant tariffs to companies that aren't going to onshore and create significant amount of their production here domestically. So Taiwan Semiconductor and Taiwan said this is an impossible benchmark for them to hit. They're not going to reach the 40%. We know that the majority of their product is still manufactured in Taiwan. They did increase their agreements here and had a domestic investment of $250 billion, with some assurances and some release, moving the tariffs from 20 to 15%. But if they don't meet this mark, this could have significant impact on future tariffs. And it also made me think about Samsung and SK Hynix as South Korean companies. We know that they produce the majority of their product in South Korea. Will they face the same tariffs as we're threatening here? The administration and Trump is threatening 100% tariffs on any chips that are produced outside of the country instead of moving here. This gives Micron a bit of an American powerhouse moat. They're the only domestic memory manufacturer in the country. So will they have an opportunity to take advantage of the silicon sovereignty that Trump and the administration in Washington right now is trying to create by onshoring more manufacturing in this space through the CHIPS Act? So does that give a leg up to Micron overall? If Samsung isn't able to produce here, if they're producing the majority of their HBM4 in South Korea, will they get hit with significant tariffs? And does that continue to give Micron as the only domestic manufacturer an advantage in the U.S.? Something for us to keep our eye on and look out. But to me, that story made me think about the impact that it could have on Micron's competitors and whether it positions them in an area from a position of strength relative to them. But I want to jump back and just kind of take a look at the conference that's happening. And you can see, I'm going to jump over here. So it is tomorrow. It's the Wolf Research. It's the Auto Tech and Semiconductor Conference that Micron committed to presenting to. What are the things that we need to hear as investors at this conference to reassure the market, to reassure us overall? I think there's probably 3 or 4 things that I would look to. Number one is I want to hear from them about their HBM, their high bandwidth memory and AI leadership as a whole, not just HBM4. Now, I do want to know about their progress towards HBM4. Are they still on track for achieving Q2 2026 benchmark that they laid out? But I also want to know, how are they ramping up their HBM3E? They have significant advantages there. We know they have efficiency advantages and power advantages over their competitors in that space. So how are they ramping that up to meet the demand in the market? What type of supply agreements do we see with major AI chip makers like NVIDIA? What do we see with the hyperscalers? Do they have any other supply agreements in place? And what is their goal? This is a key thing I'm going to be listening for. What is their goal of a market share level or market share goal they want to achieve in the HBM4 market? And will they be able to get it by at the end of 2026? So we need to listen to that and see what they're forecasting, what they're expecting to perform. I think we also want to hear more about their massive manufacturing expansion that we have. We know that they have a $100 billion investment in Clay, New York. They've broken ground in that mega fab in New York. I want to hear more about that. I want to hear more about progress. I want to hear what's going on in Boise and how they're continuing to expand their fab out there. And I also want to hear more about the Singapore expansion, the $24 billion wafer fabrication factory that they announced earlier this year. And I want to hear more about the recent, $1.8 billion acquisition of the fabrication factory in Taiwan and how those two strategic investments will help them meet the demand in the market. And since this is an auto tech conference, I think we need to hear a little bit about their plans on autonomous vehicles. How are they going to deliver some of their LPDD R5X products to meet the demands for autonomous vehicles? And a little bit more about their shifting their capacity away from from consumer products like PCs and smartphones into the data centers because of the profit margins there. But what impact do we feel that'll have on the market? What impact will it have on their other products related to those consumer products? And then finally will be their perspective, their view on the financial outlook. How long do they feel the boom is there? What do their executives specifically think about the memory cycle? Do they also project it to be out to 2028 like Melissa Weathers from Deutsche Bank does, or is it shorter? I mean, what is the pricing trends that they feel for DRAM and for NAND products right now? And then across the board, like I said earlier, what is the industry level that they think today that is in the market today for data centers, for PCs, and for mobile segments of the business? So that's what I'm looking to hear. Let me know what you're looking to hear from the presentation tomorrow. Are there any other things that could help restore confidence if you're feeling a bit bearish right now? Or if you continue to be bullish like myself with this stock, what else do you want to hear that'll help continue to foster the confidence in this company and this stock tomorrow morning? But overall, guys, to me, I think if you think about the bottom line, that today, what I saw was basically a technical reaction to some competitive news in the environment surrounding Micron. But the fundamental story of this company hasn't changed. And we know that AI literally cannot function without the chips that Micron has already sold for the next 22 months and what they'll be able to deliver to the market to meet the demand in the marketplace. But let me know your thoughts. Love to hear you. Drop a comment. I respond to each and every one. I appreciate your time, and thanks for joining the video. Take care, guys.